you're going to need a few things. A pair of scissors to cut your thread off. This is embroidery thread. A button for later. A piece of felt. And a needle that's threaded. And this piece of thread should be no longer than the distance between your hand and your elbow. So what we need to do, we're going to start by tying a knot. Don't worry if you can't tie a knot, someone will tie it for you. There is another way to do this, but I'm going to tie a knot. You're going to draw 2 lines with a pencil, and you're going to come up at the end of one line and just stop. And don't pull it too much, you don't want the knot to pull through. First stitch we're going to do is running stitch. So we're going to make a stitch, and then we're going to come back up the same distance from the end of there. We're going to come back up. So if you're not sure where you're coming up, look what I'm doing. I'm just auditioning or checking where my needle will come up. So I'm quite happy with that. This is not a race. And you're going to sew to the end. Of the piece. Now there is another way to do it. You can do it like this. So you're doing a number of stitches at once, look. Got the stitches together, pulling out like that. And this is called running stitch. So it's a stitch and a gap, a stitch and a gap, a stitch and a gap. But if you're not confident to do it like this, you do it 1 stitch at a time. There we are. 1 stitch at a time. So there we are, there's our running stitch. I'm going to put 1 last stitch there because I need to be underneath the next bit. Like so. And I'm going to jump to my next line. I'm not going to pull it too tight because what I don't want, if I pull it too tight, look what happens. That, and we don't want that to happen. I'm going to turn this around because it's easier for me to show you if it's turned around. The next one we're going to do is back stitch. So we're going to go down, like we did before. We're going to bring our needle up the same distance as the side of the stitch. And then we're going to go back on ourselves, that's why it's called back stitch. And this, instead of having a running line like that, like the middle of a car, like the middle of, sorry, of a, you see them coming up, like the middle of a road, this will have a solid line. Try and keep your line straight. Mine's gone off a little bit. So when you get a bit happier, when you get a bit more familiar, I did a very good job of that, did I? You'll be able to just do multiple stitches, but until you get to that point, take your time, do 1 stitch at a time. It is not a race. If you have problems threading your needle, I'm just having cut the furry bits off the end and have another go. Yeah. So back down on itself like so. Back up, back down, and up the other side. Down, up. You notice I'm holding it in my hands. I'm stretching it to a degree. I'm not stretching it, I'm holding it tight and taut, so it's kind of got a bit of resistance about it. You can hold it like that if you want. Just makes it that bit more difficult. Up, down, up, down. Now it might be that you have to rethread your needle part way through. I'm going to go up and I'm going to go down mine's a bit wonky, so take your time. I got better as I went along. To finish it, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through my stitches at the back 2 or 3 times, like so. Then I'm going to cut off